What's up, yeah, Joe? And coffee as usual. Alright, bit of a response video here. This is a question, well, this is more of a comment that I got from Jason.h57. I can't remember exactly which video he left this comment on, to be honest, but there was a part of the comment where he says that, oh, it's fucking cool seeing how many layers you have making a video. Obviously, one of my tutorials, I was showing my timeline, and then he left this comment about how cool seeing how many layers I have in a video and whatnot. So I kind of wanted to respond to that and talk about that layers. I follow plenty of other YouTubers that are also editors, and every now and then they take screenshots of their their timeline of what their work, how they do things, right? And you see this massive fucking layer of shit like that, or if you're a VFX artist and you do After Effects or you're using stuff in Fusion, they have this massive chart of all the crap that they do and stuff like that. Now, when you don't know what you're doing, you're like, whoa, that's impressive, whatever that is. Right now, yeah, it can be impressive, but it can be a fucking nightmare, right? And the thing is, I watched plenty of other editors on the way how they structure their timeline, and the way how they do things I don't like. Meaning the way how they put their layers, how they adjust things, it's just way too much. It becomes convoluted, and it just becomes so jarring to look at. And also another thing, if you're editing and then you're trying to go through your project, and if you have too much shit on your timeline, at least for me, this timeline is not as busy as some other videos I've done, right? But for the most part, what I try to do is I do try to keep everything structured in a manner where I know where everything's at visually without being a mess, right? Now the thing is that when you want to structure your timeline, the best thing to do is that you almost have a default structure of things, right? What I mean is that for the most part, let me expand this as much as I can. All right, so by default, the way how I work, and I think most people do, is that you kind of have certain layers, right? You have the base footage here. This is basically the main camera footage, right? The section on top of that, this is basically Paul's screen capture, right? If I zoom in here, pro tip, if you're using Premiere Pro, if you have the thumbnails generators in the clip, that can eat up your damn processing time, right? Usually what I do is I kind of shrink everything down to to the point where you don't see no thumbnails like this. It doesn't slow down your computer because it's not generating an image for each clip. So here's a screen cap with Paul here in the bottom corner, right? Now if I double click on this thing, basically what I did is it's a nested layer. So basically this section right here, this is the bottom corner, that's a video, right? And then we have the background. He screen captured and he talks over it. Then I just put the camera footage on top of whatever he was screen capping at the moment, just so you can have a visual that he's there, right? And I created a nest because these two clips would have been taking up space here, right? So basically, in other words, this whole layer here is a nested sequence, right? And again, if I double click on it, it goes into another timeline, and that basically holds Paul's camera footage here in the bottom right corner, and then the background. I nest things often in my timeline to keep things organized, or else those two clips that you just saw would have been here taking up two layers on my timeline here, right? Sometimes when I do images that require a lot of stuff stacked up on top of each other, say in this example, this is basically just some scratches. See, it's a stock footage. It has a scratch, it has the NVIDIA logo. Then yeah, oh yeah, here's another thing. It's nested, so if I double click on this nest, it's the background image from Spirited Away, this character wanting a bunch of food. And then I duplicated a bunch of images, which is basically the money symbol here. If I deselect that, So again, see all these layers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I nested it here, or else I would have had 5 layers stuck at the top of each other here, and it would have made a mess, right? So yeah, that's something you want to try to be careful with your timelines. I mean, it could look cool. You're oh, here's my timeline, look at all the shit I'm doing. But a lot of it is just a bunch of layers stacked up on each other, and you can nest them and you can make it more organized. At least that's how I try to work, right? Because yeah, you can have a bunch of shit stacked everywhere here and it's all scattered, but fuck with that. It just becomes a mess. It's hard to navigate, and I try to my best to make sure I use the least amount of layers possible when I'm doing my stuff, right? So the good thing about nesting stuff is that I can position the whole thing as a whole, and then I could just scale everything together at the same time rather than trying to do everything individually. You know, I can position it the way I want within the nest. It's a lot easier, right? And also it keeps like timeline more organized, right? But anyways, yeah, quick video. I mean, yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because, you know, you can see that, oh, there's a lot of work that goes into making the video. You see all the crazy shit on the timeline, right? Yeah, people that, like, you know, they always like be like, oh damn, look at my timeline, damn, look at all this shit, and so on and so forth. And like, you know, just it's a big giant jumble mess, right? I mean, it's fine, don't get me wrong. These are like full-length, you know, movies that they're showing and stuff like that. Yeah, this is like an hour and a half looking movie, or 2 hours, you know. I mean, it's cool and all, but like I said, I try not to like get my shit to look like this, because it's just too much, right? I try to squish everything down and make it like more of a solid block when I'm editing my stuff, right? Instead of having a bunch of stuff scattered everywhere. At least that's how I work, for the most part. Thanks for the comment, Jason.h57. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys want to learn more, just leave a comment and I'll make a video out of it when I got time. Thanks a lot, really appreciate it. Talk to you guys later. Peace.